and start introducing ourselves so I can know who you are and you can know a little bit about me. I can go ahead and start first since I'm up here. My name is Tamara Chapman. This is actually my third year in real estate. Prior to real estate career, I actually had worked in banking for about 14 years. What actually moved me to the Greensboro area is I was working at BB&T as compliance manager for about 7 years, and then I had actually decided to do something different because I had a child during my career there, and found it very difficult to balance the whole work life family situation, and they required me to work, even though it didn't say that, they wanted me to work 60 hours a week, which was very difficult to do when you have a baby. And so I did do it for a little while, but I was also extremely stressed and really for what I did, very underpaid. And, me and my husband had kind of come to a crossroad where we had to make some decisions because at the time he also had employment that took him away from home a lot. So with him having to travel and occasionally me having to travel and having two young children, we just found it very difficult to balance. So at that point, um, with a lot of prayer and faith, I decided to quit my job. Not sure how we were going to live because we had been so used to having two incomes for so long. But God willing, it worked out. What we had decided to do to kind of test the waters is we had put, every time I'd get paid, I would put my check into like a savings account so we didn't see that money. And honestly, it was really amazing how when you think you can't survive without something, how it tends to just work out and things fall in place. So obviously it was meant to be. It was a blessing in disguise because I was able to stay home with my children for about 3 years. And then once I felt like they got of age where were a little bit more independent, I said, you know what, I want to go back to work. Always had aspirations to getting into real estate, but have always been fearful of being commission based because you never know what one paycheck will be from month to month. But bless and behold, is during that time, my husband also got a promotion, and I was able to, go ahead and start preparing and go to real estate school, and here we are, and I'm loving it. It is a lot of hard work, but I've enjoyed every experience, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you about Keller Williams. If you're here, you're probably here for the same reasons I am. The culture is huge. The people are wonderful. You get a lot of support and love here. So that is why I'm here, and I'm so glad you guys are with me here to join me for this class today. So I'd love to hear more about you.
John Thomas, and I work part-time for a funeral home in Thomasville, and I'm a funeral director student. And I got into real estate just because I was doing a lot of things in my community and joined a lot of committees that were taking up a lot of my time. And so I wanted to find a way to earn income and still be able to participate in the things that I was doing. And so I heard about real estate, heard about all the money you could make in it and how flexible the schedule was. And so I decided that I would take my license or my pre-license exam or test and of course, and now I'm here.
Okay, glad to have you.
Good morning, I'm Kathy Morrow. I am a former business owner. I had some pretty big businesses in Michigan, in North Carolina.
What kind of business was it?
I had 3 steel companies, a wood molding company, a Cadillac dealership.
Oh,
company.
wow.
Big businesses.
Yeah.
I moved to North Carolina a few years ago and started another business, which I sold about a year ago. And went into retirement, and my sister suggested that I go back out of retirement and get into real estate. When I came out of college, I was a stockbroker for a decade, so I've got that business background as well. I have 15-year-old twin boys who are now driving, which is very expensive.
Oh, I bet.
And, what else? I think that's about it.
What brought you to Keller Williams?
When I was taking my class, my preliminary class, Michelle came in and we had a bunch of different speakers from a bunch of different companies. And I like the fact that Arlene and Michelle were very dynamic. And it seemed like a good fit. So
The two of them are pretty hilarious anyway.
Yeah. I licensed mid and October. Sort of accidentally sold a couple of houses. I decided to do my post-licensing classes, so I've gotten all those out of the way.
Oh, good for
And now
you.
it's time to do the new home.
Now, how did you accidentally?
Accidentally?
So.
It was funny because I live in Greensboro, and my kids go to school in Kernersville and High Point. I make this triangle every day, so I'm driving. So I'd just gotten my MLS stuff, so I was out looking for houses for me because I thought, oh my God, I'm just going to buy another house and move closer. And there was a lovely couple looking at a house in the driveway, and because I'd just gotten on showing time, I stopped and I said, I'm scheduled to look at all these houses. Are you interested in this one? And they said, yes. And I said, well, why don't you hop in and we're going to go around this neighborhood and we're going to look at these different houses. So we did, and I ended up selling them one of those houses.
Oh,
That was
wow.
a $315,000 home, my first sale.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So, just talk to people because they're out there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. You want to go next?
Yeah, I don't think I can really follow that up, but my name is Daniel Gibson. I've been with Keller Williams since February 2nd. I chose to go into real estate because I kind of have a background in business a little bit. I've actually been working at Harris Teeter Distribution and as a selector doing labor work. But my back's grown pretty tired over 7.5 years of that, and even though they pay me pretty well and I have great benefits, I'm kind of walking away from it, despite all my family telling me not to. I enjoy bringing satisfaction to people, seeing a smile on their face when you help them out with whatever it might be in real estate. I was able to buy my first house at 23, and it was actually a short sale, so I got a pretty good idea of how that process went. And my next house was a relocation, because I sold my first house myself actually, and just kind of got into the process of both transactions and really kind of enjoyed it. So I saw myself making a career out of it.
So you're a natural.
I hope, but here to find out. I'm sure Ignite's going to help out a lot. And I actually came to Keller Williams due to a buddy of mine, Josh Hill. He worked at Harris Teeter doing the same job I did, and I was like, well, if anyone to follow, I should follow somebody that's taking that same transition that I'm going to take. And obviously, he's doing pretty well too. So,
good.
Where's Josh at? Is he here? He's in High Point.
Out of Keller Williams.
I think I know Josh.
He works mostly like Thomasville and.
Okay, I think I've met him because he came on fairly recently, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Does he work with Thad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They're all part of the Hill group.
Yeah. Okay.
They're doing pretty well. I thought I was going to actually join up with them, but him and Michelle both said maybe do your own thing first and see how that works.
Okay.
So, we're not there.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Sylvia. Well, I come from 25 plus years in telecom. I'm an engineer by training. I moved to Winston-Salem to work for Haynes 10 years ago. And after 5 years there, I got laid off as everybody else. And I couldn't find a job. So, I was overqualified. There was no jobs around here. So my husband and I decided to buy a franchise and start a business by ourselves. And a few months after we signed the agreement with the franchise, he's diagnosed with advanced cancer.
What was it?
Advanced cancer, stage 4
Oh,
cancer.
wow.
So he passed 16 months ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So I was stuck between taking care of him and trying to launch that business. And I still have the business, but
What business is that?
it's called Postal Annex.
Okay.
It's like a UPS store,
Okay.
FedEx store, but we do all of the carriers.
Okay.
And it's a printing center also.
Okay.
So the store has done more or less, not really good. So the income is really small and my husband already passed. So the first thing is I have to sell my own house.
Right.
So I say, well, I always like real estate, and I took my classes and all that. And well, the encouragement originally was to sell the house and have a second career also. So here I am. I'm really excited. I passed on the test. here. And actually, all the sales techniques and all that I'm learning is helping my other business too. So, but I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Is Spanish your native language?
Spanish.
Yeah. That would definitely be an advantage too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what many people
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really is.
definitely will. It's always like in the story, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I have 2 girls that speak Spanish and one that doesn't.
Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Venezuela.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you believe me if I told you I was born in Panama?
Really? Nice.
And don't speak Spanish very well, but everybody in my house does.
Oh,
So, but yeah.
yeah. We can do another language of yourself.
Oh yeah,
Or every
definitely
time we have
beneficial.
somebody that speaks Spanish, you know, trying like some of them speak English too, but people feel more comfortable on their native language.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
it does help.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Linda. The reason I do real estate is we have a family business for investment company, and they like to buy commercial property and also residential property. And they was kind of confused about the process. My cousin allowed me to actually take a classes. At that time, pregnant with my baby girl. She's 6 months now. So after I have my baby girl, I just feel, it's a time maybe to move on to do something for family and also for my baby girl. If I do the real estate, I have more time to stay home with her and with family because she's pretty small baby now. Then later, I just went to superior school, have my pre-licensing, and the extractor is really nice. Then I just feel when I have time, I just knock out the 3 post-licensing class. Then after that, we have a lunch, I think, with all the different real estate company. Like they bring out lunch and kind of talk about the company. Then I know the Keller Williams from there. Yeah. So that's why I joined Keller Williams.
So what impressed you about Keller Williams?
How they answer the question for students. Because we have a pretty large group, around 40 students at a class. Different company coming here to interview. Then people is like, when we ask about money stuff and about like how you pay, and people is like, yeah, it's in, that and that. So, but Keller Williams, they are pretty straight. And
They were more forthcoming with the information.
Yes,
yeah.
After this, you don't pay anymore for company. That's it. So I just feel that after, of course, I interview more company, even after I decide to move to real estate. But I think Keller Williams, they have really good training program. The only 2 things I concentrate is education first, and second of all is my commission.
Right.
So Keller Williams, they do both.
Right.
So I decided to come.
Okay. Well, welcome.
My name is Elizabeth Bell, and I am going to be in the Asheboro office, which is a new market center that's opening for Keller Williams. I've actually been in real estate over 10 years.
Okay.
All of this is just a refresher under the Keller Williams branding. That's, I want to understand that from beginning to end, especially being one of the first agents at the new market center.
Right.
Like I said, I've been in real estate over 10 years.
What company were you with before?
Actually, myself.
Oh, okay.
Myself.
Okay.
So the reason I made that change is and this will be a testimonial to anybody that has their own firm. Economically, it is the right thing to do because it's actually less expensive for me to be in real estate as my own person under the Keller Williams, monthly, weekly insurance, the whole phenomenal thing. So immediately that hit me because being on your own and being in your own, having your own firm, you have those responsibilities are there, and you have to still take care of them. You've got your E&O insurance, you've got your marketing, you've got all of these things that you're paying for yourself, and just the fact that those tools are available to me is such a, the tools themselves save me more than I'm going to pay Keller Williams
Right.
in a year. And I've done the figures. And
So when you had,
it is cheaper
yeah,
to do that.
I have a question for you. So when you had your own firm, did you have some of the access to some of the technology that we have? Did you have to use some of these things already, or?
Some of them. I was fortunate enough that when I started and I done my provisional broker, I done it with Total Real Estate Solutions out of
Oh, okay, I've heard of that.
and Kelly Anders, she does a lot of the training and a lot of the licensing stuff. We work together.
Okay.
Actually, Kelly was really good about tools then, so I learned a lot of that dynamics then.
Okay.
But the biggest thing is, to me, it was financially the smartest thing to do. And with Asheboro opening a new market center, it was just a good fit. It was like, you're crazy if you don't do this.
Right.
So that's how I got there.
Okay. Well, welcome.
I'm David Keener. I'm actually going to be in the Asheboro Market Center as well. I just moved here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in August. I have 4 kids, twins as well, 18 years old. My boy, twins, headed in the Marines in September.
Oh, wow.
I got 2 others, 15 and 12. I was right out of high school. I went into the Air Force, got out of the Air Force, and started a few businesses in technology, cybersecurity, and built those businesses up over about 16 years, about 350 people. Sold it a few years ago and went into real estate investments. Actually, another company before that, that's when I started real estate investments. Been doing real estate investments for about 11 years, some other technology startups. Retired a couple years ago, just split my time between some nonprofits, actually buying homes and converting them into like halfway houses for like, men on drugs or women prostitutes, everything,
wow.
and kind of restoring their lives and things like that all around the United States. Did that for a couple years, and just one day up in Pittsburgh, the wife and I were sitting on the porch. It was cold. I said, I'm so tired of this. We got a pool, and we only use it 2 months out of the year. Just opened up Zillow, looked at a few homes, and found one down here. And actually, they were all in Charlotte, except for one here in Greensboro. My daughter found Zillow, 15 years old. And on the way up, we shot through, looked at it, made an offer, and we were here 6 weeks later.
Oh, wow.
So we live in Pleasant Garden area. I'm doing this because I think technology is a young man's game, and I'm not young anymore. And it's just the pace is really difficult. I want something more tangible, brick and mortar. You can touch, feel, and see, not any magic ones and zeros. You know what I mean? It's here's the structure. This is the value. Is anybody interested? So a little different twist is I don't plan to be an agent so much as I want to build out a company, an expansion team. So that's what I'm doing day one.
Okay.
Is building an expansion team and creating or establishing a great group of people and an engine that makes their jobs very easy. I am looking at different systems and things like that to help streamline that whole process, from whether you're a listing agent or a buyer or whatever. So I'm really excited and hungry. Sponge right now, eating up everything I can.
That sounds exciting. So y'all know each other already?
No.
Nope.
No, okay.
No.
He's only, how long have you been here?
Today.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even have my pocket card yet. I just passed.
I don't
Oh, okay. But you're out of the Asheboro office also. Is that what you said?
I will be.
You will be.
Yeah.
Okay. So y'all will get.
It's still not done.
Paint's done. We got a little bit of furniture in yesterday, but it's still not quite ready. But we do have Wi-Fi. So you can come in and sit on the floor.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I have like a thing with my eye today.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay. I'm Ashley Dennis. I was actually in superior class with him. I just got my pocket card in the mail over the weekend, but I signed last week. I took the class in 2008, but whenever I was going through it, then I was younger, I had no idea the costs that it would take to start up the business. So whenever, our instructor started telling us, I was like, what? I didn't have the money, so I never went and did the state. And then a couple of years ago, I stayed interested in it though. A couple of years ago, whenever we bought our first house, the interest was like renewed. And so I decided that I really wanted to do it. And I have 2 daughters, so one is 7 and one is 3. So we had to figure out how to, work things out so that I could do it. I am friends with Taylor Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was talking to her back in September because she, about her license and her process and how she came to Keller Williams, and she hooked me up with Michelle, and we talked. And so pretty much it just convinced me that I needed to quit my job as a teacher assistant so that I could go to real estate school and do this. So even though that was in September when I talked to them, I finally left my job at the beginning of January. And so that quickly, here I am. And a part of the reason that I want to do this is for my kids, because I did have summers off before as a teacher assistant, but my income was really bad. So I want to be able to provide for them. And I think about college and weddings and stuff like that. So that's why I am here.
I understand.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you run this business right, you can definitely make some great money. Let me
Right.
It's gonna be.
okay. We are starting off on I'm just going to go over real quickly the expectations for today. Of course, our expectation for today is to build the most important tool that you will ever use as a real estate agent, and that's your database. Have we already kind of started to get some names going to get that built up? Okay, and everybody knows their main database is probably their cell phone, because you have all your contacts in there, and so that's definitely a good place to start, is everybody that you know that's in your cell phone. We also are going to lead generate for business, so we're going to make some calls today. So hopefully you guys have got some people you can reach out to this morning. Huh?
Not necessarily, but okay.
Okay. We're going to also add new contacts to our database. Okay. We're going to organize and categorize our contacts for target marketing. I don't know if you guys is everybody set up on eEdge? Because I have found sometimes when I do this class, we're not always sort of.
I have a login.
Okay. Because we'll talk a little bit about eEdge today, but if you don't have it, you can at least follow along on the screen. We're going to put our contacts on marketing campaigns, and we do that so that we can keep our contacts to keep us in mind. Okay, we don't want them to forget us, so we have to continuously reach out to them. We have to send them marketing material. We have to make those phone calls, send them mailers and different things like that. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention to you real quick, I know usually you have to review your mission statement. Has everybody had an opportunity to do that? Okay, and there usually is an assignment that comes with that. Has everybody done that? No? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm not doing it with you or anything today, but I'm told to ask you guys about that, because usually there's assignment that comes before you have that next class. So before every Ignite class, there's usually an assignment that goes along with it to kind of help you get prepared for the next Ignite lesson. Okay. So one of the things that we're going to start off on today is daily report out, which is our daily 10-4. Okay. So does everybody understand what the daily 10-4 is? We're going to add 10 contacts. We're going to make 10 connections. We're going to write 10 notes, and we're going to preview 10 homes. Okay. And that's within a week. So has everybody kind of started doing those things or working towards those things?
Not the previewing homes part.
Okay. But you've been doing your contacts and your notes and all that. Okay. And has anybody had any opportunities to preview any homes?
And when you're previewing homes, what are you feeling? What do you want to feel?
Just to get familiar with the area, to just get familiar, with the particular market, just various reasons. Just for example, if you tend on marketing to a particular neighborhood, it might be good to go drive around that neighborhood and just kind of get a feel for the market, go preview the homes. If it's a tract builder, it's probably easy because probably the homes are all very similar. If it's a custom builder, you may want to learn a little bit about, the building quality and different things like that, but just to kind of get an idea of what that particular market's like. Maybe run a market analysis report to see kind of what the trends are, where things are selling. Just familiarize yourself with that market if that's an area you think you might target in terms of trying to go after business. So, okay. All right. One of the things that they always like us to do, have y'all heard of affirmations? Okay. So there is an affirmation on page 9. Does everybody have their manual? Okay. No? Or at least your computer? On page 9?
Oh, 9.
Yeah, I'm going to assume it's the same as it is on the instructor's manual. Okay. And there's an affirmation there that says, I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call. Okay. So what I would like us to do is say this aloud to ourselves 3 times. And I'd like us to stand up and do it. Okay. Okay. This is just to get that encouragement so we can make those calls this morning. Okay. And it says, does everybody have this, or should I write it up there? Everybody has it? Okay. I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call. On the count of 3, we're going to start. 1, 2, 3. I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call. There was no energy in that, guys. All right, let's say that again. A little bit more feeling like we really believe it. All right, 1, 2, 3.
I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call.
All right, we're going to try that one more time. 1, 2, 3.
I always come from contribution. People will welcome my call.
Okay, so we did that so that we can actually start making some phone calls. So one of the first things we're going to do is you can get your phone, get your list of contacts that you possibly brought with you today, and we're going to start calling your Mets. I'm going to assume that most of you have already kind of started reaching out to people that you know and saying, hey, I've got a real estate business now. Just wanted to let you know, if there's anything ever I can do to help you buy or sell a home, if you keep me in mind. Have you guys kind of started letting everybody that you know? Okay. Well, this might be a great time to do that. Might be a great time to do that. Just kind of reach out to people and say, hey, I've got a real estate business, and I want you to keep me in mind if you ever have a real estate need. Okay. So we'll spend a few minutes doing that, and then we'll kind of get back together and then figure out what were some of the outcomes or the results of those calls. Okay. And let me see how much time we're allotted for that. Okay, so we have 20 minutes. So I'm going to put my little timer on here because I want us to stay. Well, like I told you, one of the things I would just go ahead and do is just not introduce yourself, because I'm assuming you're calling people that you already know.
Right.
Just let them be aware that you have a real estate business and ask them for potential referrals.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I can kind of stay away from this until everything's set up?
Yep. Because in this particular situation, that's not going to be applicable to you.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. No problem. No problem. But yeah, but that's one of the things that we're trying to get better with, is making sure everybody has everything they need prior to them coming to class.
And we did have a kind of like a prep class on Friday. They're still not, everybody's still not able to get it all put together.
Right.
Okay.
I understand.
And we have 15, 20 minutes.
Let me see what our time left. We have 15. Yeah, about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, thank you.
We have about 14 seconds, so we'll go ahead and kind of start. But I wanted to kind of get some feedback from you guys about the results of your calls, your contacts that you made, how successful they were, if you didn't get anybody, and kind of the means of communication. We just finished talking a lot about people communicating through text messaging and things like that, and just how effective that is. So tell me kind of some of your experiences with your calls just now, or your contacts.
I can go. I got one guy, he's a neighbor, and he was going to put it up for sale by owner. And told him I was doing this. He's from Pennsylvania too, so I said, hey, as a favor, would you let me, you become my guinea pig, first house with license, He said maybe. He said a lot depends on the commission, that you're looking to charge. Because it'd have to be a really good deal, because I really don't want to be paying a lot for this property, this house, because I know it's going to sell fast. It's probably in the $150,000 to $200,000 still on the neighboring property. So,
Is something ringing?
yeah, I hear it too. Vibrating. Might be next door. Going to the wall.
Oh, I guess it was me. That was my my timer kept going off for the 20 minutes. I said, okay. Okay. What is
So,
it?
he said, as soon as you get your license, let me know, and that's what I just got to tell him. So I haven't
Okay.
heard back, but he will. He's retired.
Have you seen the for sale by owner scripts?
No,
Yeah, you might want to get some so you can use it on them.
I just got this last night.
Yeah, to take and then call him back and speak to him about some of those for sale.
The big book from Kayla.
Yeah.
It's like 100 and something.
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to share their experience with their contacts?
I will.
Okay.
I have a friend who's looking within the next few months, and I shared my app with him a couple of days ago. I asked him if he had a chance to look at it. He said he was looking at some houses in a certain price range, and I asked him if he'd been to talk to any lenders yet. He said that he's going to when he comes. He's going out of town this weekend, and he's going to go next week. And I asked him if he had any questions or needed any help with that process to let me know.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, and she mentioned this was someone she had already had a conversation with previously. So follow-up is extremely important in this business, because sometimes you might not get, the result you want the first conversation you have. So you definitely want to follow back up with that client or potential client to kind of find out if if they're still in need. Like the for sale by owners is usually with them, you have to follow up a lot because, again, typically they're pretty stubborn and they want to sell their house themselves because they're trying to save money. But statistics say usually after 4 weeks in, I think I read, usually by then they're starting to get frustrated because they haven't sold their property yet, or maybe they're not getting a lot of traffic, or maybe they're not getting a lot of serious buyers that are coming through. So there's so many different things that you can throw at that for sale by owner. So continue to definitely follow up with them, because eventually if they don't sell, they're going to need your help. So.
Regarding for sale by owner, I heard a while ago that they can pay, I don't know if it was an agency or a website or something, to list their home in MLS. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
They can pay.
There is a service that will put their home in MLS for them, and I don't know what that fee is, but it's cheaper, and then they just don't work with an agent. They just pay to have it listed in MLS, and that's it. Of course, there's no true marketing from that a realtor would do with their property. It's just in MLS, which means as realtors, we would see the property, but there's no marketing of that particular home.
Bring the potential.
Yeah.
So what are the selling points that you would say you can when you approach to at least our selling points to go with it? Because one of the things I have heard is that they are not in MLS,
Mhm.
so they don't have the market. But if they are, so
Well, potentially, like I said, potentially what FSBOs are trying to get away from is paying the commission. But a lot of times they don't realize it, that they could possibly be making more money actually off their home if they actually went with a realtor. Because, again, they're not experts. Most of them are not experts in the field. And usually they're not selling their houses quick enough. So time is working against them. And then there's all this marketing things that we can do for them to actually touch potential buyers. I mean, they're not going to put the money into marketing their house like a real estate agent would do. So there's a lot of benefits to them actually hiring someone to assist them. But I like to approach for sale by owners not aggressively, because again, their whole goal is to sell their house on their own, and they don't want the help of an agent. So what I usually like to do is, like I said, there's a lot of scripts that you can go through with them. I like to provide them with some information that would help them to sell. But at the end of the day, if they don't sell, hopefully they'll remember, wow, Tamara, she wasn't pushy, and she provided me with all this information to help me sell, and I still haven't sold my house. So hopefully they'll think back and come back. And then there's a lot of, I know one of the things I like to send out is something called security procedures for sale by owners, because there's a lot of security risk when you're for sale by owner. You really don't know who you're letting into your property. And a lot of times with for sale by owners, people are just coming and they're not necessarily coming qualified, and they're not necessarily coming with an agent. So you don't know who you're letting into your house. So there's a lot of things that you can throw at them to make them think, well, wow, that is something to think about. Not only that, we also have an attendance sheet that we also can send to for sale by owners, because for sale by owners, a lot of times they're not even tracking who's coming to their house. So how do you follow up with those people if you're not writing down who came and their name and phone number? How do you follow back up to even see if it's a serious situation? So that's another thing. Again, how ask the for sale by owner, how are you qualifying these potential buyers? How do you know they can afford your home? If they're just driving by and they just say, well, we wanted to see your house. Can they provide you with the letter? An agent is going to ensure all this stuff is done, So those are some of the things that you can say that you offer as a service, and it makes it less of a worrisome process for sale by owner. So, yeah. So did you have any good experience with your contacts today?
Yeah, well, I have been telling all my long-time customers in the store.
Uh-huh.
I already have a rapport with them. Well, since I was doing the class and everything. So there is one customer that listed her house when I wasn't ready yet. But I talked to her, I followed up, and she took it off the market.
Okay.
So I'm being really very gentle, saying, okay, when you're ready, let me know, we can list it again.
Okay.
Don't think that I don't have experience, because I have a lot of other agents in my office.
Absolutely.
The top selling
Absolutely.
that are gonna help me. So yeah, I'm warming that up. There is a house like going around my block that is for sale by owner.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
why I'm interested. I haven't talked to them yet because I don't know them, but definitely I want to approach them. The thing is, I have to be careful because, in the next 3 weeks or so, I'm going to list my own house. And they may not like the fact, it's a competitive, it's a competition, very close. So
Is your house completely different from theirs?
It's newer.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how old is their house, but in my block, those are the newer houses in the whole neighborhood. So yeah, it's a more modern distribution that I haven't seen their house. Okay. I may go and just look at it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm thinking my strategy to them.
Yeah. It's a good start for practice. I mean, even if they say, no, we're not interested, I mean, you got to start somewhere, and you're going to get a lot of no's before you get a yes. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
And like that, I have a lot of customers that I see them, so that I have already told them and I have shared the app.
Okay.
So some of them are just curious about how much is the property worth or whatever. So that's how I started. So they look at it. Yeah, I have one of my employees is interested in buying a house.
Okay.
So I was talking to her yesterday about getting her approved.
Okay. Okay.
And I shared the app. So I have shared the app with a lot of people.
Okay.
So, but the one I just called, they are not pre-qualified. They ended up renting because they don't have a good rate.
Okay.
So I was talking to them about, okay, let's work on it and so on, because then we'll be ready probably in a year or so.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yes, ma'am.
I have an odd situation that I ran into. Tell me, if you can, why they would do this. I talked to a guy who was a for sale by owner, but he was actually a licensed real estate agent. He's a broker. Wants to sell it by himself, doesn't want to use the resources that he has available to him to stick it on the MLS or do anything like that. Why would he do that? And I mean, obviously it's not going to go anywhere, but what would be the benefit of selling a home that you have and not using the resources, even if it costs you 3%, or negotiate
Well, that's
2%?
well. You know what? That's what I was getting ready to say. He's probably trying to, because obviously as agents, when we sell something, we have to give a part of that commission to our company.
Right.
So he could be trying to avoid that, in addition to having to have to pay that other agent as well.
But he's had this on the market for a year and it's not sold. So as a real estate agent, why wouldn't you just
Yeah,
use
I
the
don't.
resources
I
you
know
have?
it doesn't make sense to me,
I
but
didn't know it's allowed to.
Yeah,
Once
so I
you
think
are
have
with
to
the
put-
company,
I don't think you can do that legally.
I thought the license law was that you had to state that you were with.
You can't
Right,
put a
right.
blind ad.
well, I don't know. I don't know how he's getting around that then.
The home is in High Point and he's working on Burlington.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just-
Unless they don't know. Well, no, I can't imagine somebody would know, but that's the only thing I can think of is he's trying to get out of paying.
a commission.
Well, he might not get out of paying a commission because obviously if an agent brings somebody, he has to pay them.
Right.
But unless he's trying to avoid paying his company their percentage of the profit.
Is he active?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is he?
Getting back with somebody whenever you were finishing the story, so I didn't.
Yeah,
That's all right. But it's a good question. But yeah, he's active.
he is active. I don't know then how he's.
I don't know how to
I have no idea.
I guess.
I mean, that's
You
interesting.
also want to be careful though. You don't want to get into something that might not be.
He's really wanting to sell.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's something
Yeah.
wrong with that
Yeah.
situation
Yeah.
all around.
Yeah, I have
don't
no
think he
idea.
wants to sell.
Well, he has to live in the home. I mean, it's
So he's trying to flip a house without having to pay this.
Possibly.
I think that's conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Can't do
I'm not sure what he's trying to do, to be honest with you. All right. Any other experience with contacts? Any wants to share? So nobody else was able to
lots of
talk to.
voicemails. I don't know if it's the
Yeah.
time of day.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. You will get voicemails. And sometimes people will call you back. Sometimes they don't. But it's important to make sure you do those follow-ups. Follow-ups are extremely important, guys. So.
One thing I've noticed is that people will not be on their phones when they're at work, but they'll get on their Facebook.
Yeah.
So it's easier to get
Mhm. Yeah, that's one of the things we were talking about is that people sometimes will respond better when you send text messages and things like that, which I think is a great tool, but I also think it gives people a easier way to back out too. I think once you get somebody on the phone or able to have a one-on-one conversation, it's a little harder for them to dismiss you. I mean, they can, but it's a little harder. Whereas, because there's times I send text messages too and I don't hear anything. And I'm like, okay, all I need is for them to let me know is if they know anybody's, so, and it could be overkill because I send out a lot of messages, and I think after a while people are like, okay, here she goes again with these real estate messages. But again, sometimes, you get a response and then be like, oh yeah, I forgot you did real estate. And I'm, I know somebody who's trying to do something. So, until somebody tells me to stop, I'm going to keep sending them. So, all right. So one of the things that, I'm on page 13 now. Let me get to that. It's asking you to write 2 or 3 notes, and you guys can kind of do that on your own time because we've kind of gone through some things already, but this is something you definitely want to do. If you did have an opportunity to talk with any of your contacts today, make it a point to send them a handwritten note.
Not an email.
Not an email. Send them a handwritten note, because those handwritten notes really stand out. And people will throw away junk mail, but they see that little personal handwritten note. That's the one thing that they'll probably look at. Okay, because it stands out, especially if you have it in a little cutesy envelope or an envelope, something, I like the color. I buy like these really bright ones from Target. I don't know if you've seen them, really bright notepad and envelopes, and I know they stand out in people's mail when they get them. And so if nothing else, I know somebody will open that. Okay, so definitely a handwritten note. It doesn't have to be anything lengthy, just thanking them for their time and for talking to you today, and enclosing a business card. You guys probably don't have those yet, right? Okay. So, well, again, did they give y'all the little generic ones? Nothing? Okay. But that's something that you definitely want to do once you have a conversation with them. Just thank them for their time. Okay? Thank them for their time. All right, get your head in the game. We're on page 15. So, at the end of Ignite, you guys have all committed to adding 200 new contacts to your database, correct? How are we there so far in our numbers? We getting close?
1.
1? All right, 1.
I'm new. I'm green.
That's right. I know. Well, wait a minute. You have a phone,
I have to transfer all of my
right?
contacts from
How
my
many
phone.
contacts do you have in your phone?
I had 6,500.
Ooh.
So you have
You're good.
way more than 200. You just need to get those transferred over to eEdge.
To Greensboro, this area. They're all from Pennsylvania, New York, and you know what I mean?
But you know what? Believe it or not, that's okay. That's okay. They're still contacts.
Yeah.
They're still contacts because they may move, or they may know somebody who's. I mean, they're still contacts. But I understand that is a lot out of state, but they're still contacts. We have some agents that run their business strictly on referrals. So even a referral is business.
25%.
Yeah.
And I did read that North Carolina is now the #1 most destined state in the United
Yeah,
States.
the license looks, right?
Exactly. So again, you've got a lot of contacts there. So I don't want to hear anybody say I don't know anybody, because your database is this right here. All these people should be transferred into your eEdge at some point. Okay.
The app would be great for his contacts.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can pull up homes anywhere. I love sharing that app with people. So
Maybe the EH app.
you're talking about the KW mobile app.
Okay, mobile app.
Yeah, because that thing is wonderful. Because you can see
And
houses
so
anywhere
They can see some houses where they're at.
where they're at. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a wonderful thing.
And it's linked to you.
It's linked to you. So what happens is when someone goes in there and they like make an inquiry for a home,
And referral.
you'll get a email that lets you know that they were
My mom did that.
logged in.
I got a phone
But it's
call. I was like, my
only
mom
they
called me.
say
She's like, I
that
called you through your app.
It is. They have to go in there,
Yeah.
and then what you do is once you see that inquiry pop up in your email, you need to contact them.
Okay,
And
but if
follow
they
up.
don't save it, they don't have to sign it.
Right. But once they do that, that you've already captured their information, and that obviously shows that maybe they're either looking to move or know somebody. And if you happen to contact them and they say, well, we're looking to buy a house in Florida, you know what you say? You know what? I have an agent for you in Florida. And then you probably don't really have an agent, but you can definitely find one
Yeah.
through our case.
Is there like
It says
a
Farmersville, it's gonna say
okay, so
Asheboro.
my sister's
I've got
in
the
the Lake
uninstalled
Norman
and
area,
installed.
but she is not with Keller Williams. Is there kind of like an unspoken rule that you want to
And
go
then
with Keller
uninstall it
Williams
before you
first,
install
or
it.
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, obviously they probably would prefer you to, but
I'm
it's
gonna try to
any
get her to
agent.
come to this
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, it's really, you can get a referral off agents at another company as
But you
well.
have
So
to talk
so
to see if they're okay
Ask,
to
ask
share.
first, right? Yeah.
yeah, but you can do that. because at the end of the day, this is your business,
Right.
you know, and really no one can, as long as you're within the rules of, you know, ethically and within the rules of the regulations of real estate, you can do what you need to do
Right.
for your business. Okay. All right, so again, you want to have those 200 new contacts into your database. And if you use email, and who doesn't, you undoubtedly are inundated with notices from companies and website you visited or ordered from. You think about companies like Amazon or Groupon. I know I get stuff from Groupon almost on a daily basis. When you buy groceries with a membership card or shop at Target with their branded credit card, do those companies give you coupons or send you messages about upcoming specials? They do. And that's kind of what our touch campaigns do for our clients, is that they're going to continuously receive marketing material about things going on in real estate, or possibly if it's a holiday, you can send out, you know, Thanksgiving greetings and different things like that, but they're going to continuously receive marketing material from your database. And again, that helps you to stay top of mind. And then at the same time, you want to definitely make sure that you're following up with those contacts to see if they're even, you know, reading your emails or have any questions about and a lot of times they won't read them. And that's fine. But as long as they're not deleting you from they're not unsubscribing, that's still a good thing, because they're still interested in what you have to say. Because I mean, I get a lot of stuff and I don't always unsubscribe, but occasionally I will go look because I'm curious, because maybe there's a topic that came up that I'm interested in and I want to read that particular thing, you know. But the other thing I do notice too is, like, every time one of those marketing campaigns goes out, I will get at least one person to unsubscribe. But I've got 900 people in my database right now, and as I'm continuously adding, that one or two people doesn't make a difference to me.
Clean the house.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But the majority of the people have decided to say, so somebody's interested. And the great thing about eEdge is you can actually track. If you go in there, you can see who's actually opened your messages and who has actually clicked on something. So that's a really nice feature to have. So you can, and usually the percentage is really low, but like I said, as long as they're not unsubscribing, your name is still popping up in their inbox. So they're still interested in what you have to say. Okay.
That's how frequent are the emails or whatever.
So
Don't
we
set that up? Like,
well, no,
Okay.
we do set it up. So the campaigns run from April to April. And I know we had a 33 touch, but it's supposed to be switching over to a 36 touch. Okay.
Wait, it's a lot.
It is a lot. And like I said, you will have some people that will never open those emails, but some will. Okay. But again, the whole idea is that you are wanting to stay top of mind. And you can actually go in the way the campaigns are set up now. You can go in and tweak them as you need be. You can add things and you can even take things out. But based on what Keller Williams' motto, they want you to utilize the 36 touch that we have in place because they say it works. Okay. So, but again, it's a combination of mailers, phone calls, and emails. Okay. The mailers are typically, again, those are things that you actually have to physically go in and do. Before, it used to set up, it used to be where you can go in and set up, or will automatically have things set up for you. Now you have to go in and set up mailers automatically. And I know through our coaching program, one of the things that Arlene recommends is that you do that at the beginning of a campaign. So like I said, they start from April to April. So in April, when I go in to renew my campaign, I'll just include mailers in a couple times a year. And I don't do a lot of them because they're expensive. When you have 900 people in your database, I don't necessarily want to send to 900 people.
Are they going out bulk day?
Yeah. So what I normally would do is, for one, I don't have addresses for everybody. I have an email for pretty much everybody. See, that's the thing too. You probably won't have addresses for everybody, but you may have emails or a phone number. So obviously it's not going to go to those people who don't have a physical address in your database. It'll only go to those that have a physical address. But the thing is, you also want to make sure that those addresses are current, because things change, people move, or whatever the situation may be. And then you end up sending out these mailers and these people are no longer there. And of course that's wasted money. So you want to go in and kind of make sure on a regular basis that your database is updated with the correct address. So usually I physically go in and select who I want my mailers to go to. And honestly, out of all the people I have in my database, like I said, I have close to 900. I might only send out 200 or 300 mailers. So that's less than half of my database, because I know, like I said, I know half of those people, I'm not sure if their address have changed, or I either just don't have physical addresses for them. I have a email address, but I don't have a physical address for them. But again, that's one of those things that you can also use as a conversation piece. Is I have to do better, and I'm admitting this, I have to do better with going into my database, calling people and say, hey, just want to, see how you're doing and maybe confirm your address. And some people will be, and most people in my database, I'm assuming if they haven't opted out, they'll give me their address. But that's another means to call someone. I just want to call you to get your address and update my database. So would it be okay for me to do that and just update that information?
You don't just do a random blanket mailer.
I don't. I'm selective about mine because again, I know that some of the information in there is not accurate. Yeah, and like I said, because I don't have everybody's address.
Okay, and the mailing component is actually somewhere on my KW.
And I'm going to actually show you guys how to get to that. Let me see where we are right now. So, okay. There's a video we're going to watch real quickly, and this actually talks about how you would organize your database. And then we'll go into how to organize that. Let me see. All right, so now we're going to watch a video about how to organize your database. And then after this video, we'll get some feedback on what you guys' thoughts are about it. Oh, why does it look like this?
She is using her database to lead generate. Because her contacts are organized, she is able to make effective calls that yield results.
Hello, Mr. Smith. This is Nancy from Keller Williams Realty. How are you today?
You can see that because she took time to build, organize, and nurture her database, her business is growing and becoming profitable.
Okay, so you're not moving. Is there anyone else who is? Well, I wanted to talk to you about the inquiry you put in online for a new home. Yes. Well, can we meet at 2 o'clock on Tuesday? I'll put you down in my books. Thank you so much.
Here is Nancy. She doesn't think she needs a database. She has a system. Watch as she tries to lead generate.
Hello, Mr. Smith. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Johnson. This is Nancy. We met a couple weeks ago. You moved a month ago. Gosh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, is there another time we can talk?
As you can see, an organized database is your most valuable business asset. A powerful database produces productive and predictable leads. The results speak for themselves.
All right, any ahas or thoughts about that video?
Yes. I have a question.
Okay.
Here, do you just dial for dollars with your cell phone, or can we get a landline so you can strap a headset on and keep going, or what do they do? How's that work? Do you bring your own phone?
Well, you may not have a desk here, but if you wanted to use one of the phones here, that's not a problem as long as no one's sitting there. And probably what's very helpful if you have a dialer system, and that's not something that the office provides for you, that's usually a service that you pay for through a company. And that makes dialing a lot easier because you're not having to physically sit there and dial numbers. You actually have a computer that kind of dials the numbers in as you go through. And I use a dialer system, and it's something that I pay for, and I just do it, at home every morning when I make my calls. But that's because I also have a database that's calling all these expires and FSBOs for me. But outside of that, I do have to physically dial a number. But if that's something you wanted,
like it gives them the expireds and the for sale by owners, it gives them an automated call and an automated conversation, or are you actually?
No, I'm actually talking to them. It's just versus me sitting there having to dial, it's dialing for me. So whereas in an hour, it's taking me 10 minutes to make 10 calls. I can only make 10 calls. With this dialer, I can make 30 or 40. So it just doubles the amount of people I can contact in that hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So any other ahas or questions about what you just saw about having an organized database, the importance of it?
So the database, I guess, because it's electronic or whatever, it makes it easier for you to keep track of who has already sold their home, who you need to follow up with. I haven't been able to play with it a whole lot, but I guess there are ways you can check it off and stuff.
Yeah, your database is like your electronic notes, so to speak. Anything you do in this business, you want to keep track of. So when you're making contacts with somebody, eEdge allows you to go in and say, hey, I've talked to this person on this day, and this is what we talked about. And this is when I need to follow up with them. You can even schedule follow-ups in
Like a
eEdge.
reminder?
Yeah, like a reminder message, and then you can go back to your notes and say, okay, the last time we spoke, this is kind of what our conversation was. So you kind of can follow back up on that conversation. Some people, and I'm telling you, it's going to be so much harder for you if you don't utilize this or like to keep a lot of note paper. But that's the whole reason why you have eEdge,
Right.
is because this puts everything in one space for you, in one area for you. And then you can easily go back and track. You can see when you last talked to that person, if you're keeping thorough notes, obviously, because you do have to put that information in the system. But you can set yourself up, like I said, reminders to follow up with individuals. You can categorize your contacts based on if they're for sale by owners, if they're expireds, if they're first-time home buyers, of people that are renting. There's so many unique ways to set up your database, and there's not necessarily a right or a wrong way. It's whatever works for you.
Okay.
Because there's some people that have their database. I think specifically in the book here, they talk about setting up an ABC database. I think that's how they have it set up in here. And I don't quite do mines like that. Is it in here? They talk about that. Well, in here it talks about having your database, to minimize your database, you'll follow 3 steps. You'll do your contact, you'll classify, and you'll campaign. And I think they use the ABC method. The A+ are supposed to people that are ready to buy, that are going to have business with you within the next 6 months, and you kind of categorize them based on that criteria. But again, you don't necessarily have to use that particular method, but that is a method that works for some. I do mine a little bit differently, but this is a method that works. For example, the C people are people that you have in your database, but they're not necessarily looking to do anything right now, but they're still people that you want to touch, because just because they're not ready to do something today doesn't mean that a year from now they're not going to be ready to possibly do something. That's why it's so important to keep in contact with your database, because people's lives change. And based on what NAR says, it says people nowadays average, it says NAR tells us that people more than 10 years, with 10 years between transactions, agents who don't leverage their systems to stay up top of mind with their contact end up experiencing clients who use different agents. So basically, I think the average now is, it says that people stay in their house an average of 8 years now. So even though that seems like a long time, and I'm not saying necessarily you have to wait 8 years, but it's probably by the time you get to that client, they may have already been in their house 6 or 7 years. So they may be ready to make a move, or somebody has had a transition with their job. So it's just always important to keep in contact with your database, because there are life changes and people's situations change. And according to the National Association of Realtors, 88% of clients say that they would use their agent again, but only 12% of that do. And the reason for that is because most of those agents, once they have a client, they never hear from that agent again. So again, you stand out and be the one that keeps in contact with that particular
12%?
12, only 12% actually do.
Wow.
So, even once you do business with a client, it's so important to still stay in touch with them, because then they'll move on to some other agent, and that's an opportunity lost for you. And they may have loved the way you've done business, but because you don't keep in contact with them, it's not that they didn't remember you. It's just that, again, trying to stay top of mind. So it's so important to just follow up with your past clients, your new clients, whatever the situation may be. Okay, just the importance of that database. You'll also hear database referred to a lot as your data bank, because it really is your money maker. These are the people who are going to make you money. Okay, so you want to definitely make sure that you provide them with best customer service by reaching out to them on a regular basis.
Regular is how often? Once a month?
Well, again, that's where your campaigns come in. Okay. And your campaign, I think it's 4 times a year. Hold on, let's go to the, she said she had this up for me. Right here, market leader. Alrighty. Yeah, so Kayla, this is Kayla's database, and obviously because she's not an agent, she doesn't have anybody in here. But this is basically what it's going to look like. Okay, we've got a John Doe in here who it looks like they're categorized as a for sale by owner. This it was entered into the system on 1/12/2017. It looks like they're trying to do something now, so she has categorized them as a warm status. So if you'll see over here, you can categorize them by lead, hot, warm, cold, retry, pending, sold, or you can trash them. Let me click into his name here. Okay, but basically this is where you would input the information. And you remember I mentioned before that you'll have an area where you can put in notes. So when you call these clients, you can document your conversation so you know what to follow up with them about. And then up above here, you have some reminders. Okay, so you can set up reminders to follow up with these clients and actually put dates on here. And then you'll get an email alert saying, hey, you need to follow up with these clients. And then under more actions, this is where you are permitted to set your clients up on a campaign. And so right here where it says add to campaigns, I just clicked on that. And okay, well, we don't have any campaigns here, but we can create them. Up here where it has create marketing, and it has marketing center and my campaigns, you can go in here to create campaigns. And it has create new campaign. And so these are the various campaigns. Okay, it looks like we're still doing 33 touches right now. Okay, I'm not sure exactly when that's supposed to change over to 36, but it looks like we're still doing 33 right now. So basically with the 33 touches, it's a series of 33 touches in 1 year. Okay, it's a combination of 14 mailers, letters, cards, emails, etc. Okay. Huh? I'm kind of on page 29 right now. That's where it talks about the campaigns 20, 28, and 29. And what your touch campaign allows you to do is focus on your primary audience for a specific product or service. Okay, so you want to target your campaign based on your actual client in your database. So in this particular 33 touch, you have a combination of 29 emails. It says 0 direct mail steps and 17 activity steps. Usually the activity steps could be combination of mailers, phone calls. In this particular situation, remember I was mentioning to you before, it used to be set up where it would automatically send mailers. Now you have to go in and choose which mailers you want to create. So if I chose this particular template, the first thing that goes out, it says this month in real estate newsletter. And then it wants you to personalize it. And it's already done for you. And when they say personalize it, it's basically going to put your information at the bottom. If you have a logo, your name, your picture, and everything. And this is exactly what will go out to that client. So at the very bottom of this sun won't let me go. But yeah, at the very bottom will be like, you know, Keller Williams Realty, your picture, your name. So it'll be branded with your information on it. And so this would be for March 2017. So the information is already updated for you. It's just going out there and branding it and then hitting saved.
Does that go out as a card or a bifold, or does someone have to stuff it in an envelope?
No, this is actually an electronic email. So it's going to look just like this. It's a report that's going to come to their email.
Okay.
Yep, it's going to look
But it's not a
exactly.
mailer.
This one is not a mailer. No,
Okay.
this one is not a mailer. This is an email. So on the side there, you can see where it says email HTML optimized. So this is just a newsletter that they're going to get. Okay. And then if you come down to step 2, it says activity. So usually an activity usually means a phone call or a meeting. So in this case, it's probably going to be a phone call. So that's a time when you may want to reach out to them. And the really great thing about this, and I don't see it in hers, but usually there's a script in there too. And the script is usually says something like, I wanted to call and follow up and to see if you had any questions about the previous, email you received from me or the previous mailer you received from me. So it actually does follow a pattern. Okay. Okay. Try to see here. Okay. So in this particular case where it has, you can add a step. And let's say if you wanted to add a direct mail piece, this is where you would incorporate that direct mail and add it. And the great thing is, I'm telling you, you don't even have to reinvent the wheel. There's everything here you want to add. Even if you found out, there's a section in eEdge where you can even put like a client's birthday. If you wanted to send them a birthday card, there's birthday cards in here. So it's really nice because you can really personalize this to your client. Or for any holiday, you can send them holiday cards. This is a nice one. It says fall, but there's one for spring too. The time is about to change. So you can send something about the time changing. As a reminder card. You can do a mailer or you can do an email. Okay, like these right here are postcards. As you can see at the bottom, it says postcards. So these are some of the nice mailers that you can send out to people. As the largest investment most people will ever make, your home is a key factor in your financial future. Want to know how much your home is worth? You can send this out. You can offer a personal consultant, by just sending this card. And then again, on the back side of it, it's going to have your name and your logo and your information and everything when you personalize it. Okay. So that's the really, really nice thing about is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Go back to. So have you guys seen this before? Y'all have never seen this before? Okay. So you guys are not in the edge yet. Okay.
I'm in there. I just haven't played around with it
Okay.
I
yet.
really don't know it.
Okay. So when you get your contact, let me show you real quickly how you want to add someone to your database. Because since you guys have a couple of people now, and this is something you definitely want to start working on, you go up to, did you see how I got into, let me go back. Over here, under View Contacts, you want to click here. And then under Contacts, there's a couple of different options. All contacts recently active, add a contact. You want to click on Add a Contact. And this is where you would type in all your information for your potential client. And like I said, it's got a lot of great information. You want to collect obviously their name is very important. Definitely a phone number, email addresses is something you want to definitely get so they can get some of these great email marketing things that we would be sending to them. If you have a birthday or a purchase anniversary, you can put that in there. If you want to put any referral information, any notes, their address, any secondary details, and then you want to just save it.
And they can add themselves through your app.
They absolutely,
Right? Yeah.
yes. And that's the other thing. So like when they're going into your website or your KW app, they're going to automatically get put in here. Okay. So, and that's a great thing too. So, and that again, when that happens, that's an immediate phone call. You need to call them immediately and make contact with them because obviously they're interested. They've been on your website. They've been in your app. So you want to put this information in here. I'm not going to type anything in here for her. And then you want to just save it. Okay. And then, like I said, the next thing, once you get the person into your database, next thing you want to do is make sure you add them to a campaign. And I showed you how to do that when we were in the John Doe one. We go back to the John Doe one. And you'll see these things here at the top. You'll go under More Actions, and then you'll want to add them to a campaign. Okay. And like I said, the great thing is the campaigns are already there for you. You just have to pick one. Okay. And you'll have to go in and see. Kayla doesn't have, she doesn't have all of her this completely set up either. So I can't show you what a full campaign would look like on her machine. But that's basically how you would go in to add somebody. And if you wanted to set up different groups and categorize your contacts, this is how you would do it. You can go in here and let's say I want to do for sale by owner. So I'm going to just call this group FISBOs. And then you want to save it. Okay, so anytime you have a client that's part of the FISBO group, you can actually put them under this category. And then what's great about that is there's actually target marketing for FISBOs. So if you wanted to send out a email specifically targeting why FISBOs should hire an agent, you just select that file that has all your FISBOs and send it to those individuals. Because this is, again, if you target market, if you set up your database in categories, you're not sending information to people that it's not applicable to. So that's why this is a good thing to do.
I have a question for you. It's more like a personal preference question. Whenever you add contacts, say you have like a husband and wife, do you have them in one and do the primary and secondary, or do you add them separately?
I do both actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because usually there's always a there's always a primary person,
Right.
you know. But if they share with me both their email addresses, then I'll put them separately.
Okay.
But sometimes I'm only getting one email, so I'll use whoever gives me their email, and I'll just put the person in there as a secondary.
Okay.
But if they give me both, I'll set up both because I want them to both get the information,
Right.
you know.
Okay.
So yeah,
And sometimes, like, if you want to send birthday cards and stuff, it's different.
They need to be separate. Yeah.
Separate,
yeah. So yeah, so this, like I said, this is really, really an awesome way to keep track of all your information and and put everything in here about your contact.
Do you use any other applications for contact management? And what other agents, any other agents use other CRM?
To my knowledge, I know with Keller Williams personally, they really encourage this. I mean, you're paying for this.
Yeah.
Why not use it? They're giving it to you, and there's so much that eEdge can do for you. It's really amazing. And like I said, you don't have to recreate anything. You can tweak things, but everything's already there for you before you even think of it. So I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard of any agents not using it. You know, now I have heard some agents say they don't like to use the 33 or 33 touch. I'm not sure why they don't, because how else would you keep in constant contact with those people? You know, because if you're a person that has, and you know, we do have agents in here that got like 5,000 or 6,000 people in their database. How is it possible to keep up with all those people? You can't call them. You know, so this is the best means to do that, because if nothing else, they're at least getting some form of communication from you, whether it be emails or mailers or whatever. They're getting that. So yeah, how else would you, unless they're subscribing to something else, I don't know how else they would keep in contact with them.
What about teams? Like, how would a team use eEdge?
There actually is a way to set up teams on here. Now, and to be honest with you, I can't really speak to that because I'm not on a team. But I've seen that there is some marketing that you can create that's geared towards teams.
Can you share contacts with other agents through eEdge, or you like?
What do you mean share contact?
Like export it to them. Say you're on a team
Mhm.
and like you're the lead buyer's agent, but you find a listing or something.
Mhm.
You know, can you then share that contact with them through eEdge with the
I
other?
see what she's saying. So there's 5 people from the lister to the buyer.
Mhm.
Can they both see the same?
I don't think so. No,
So
because
I just-
everybody's individually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and from a team perspective, like I said, I really can't speak
Right.
from a team perspective, because I think, if I understand this correctly, the way the team works is they are typically fed leads from the top person anyway. So yeah, so I can't really speak to the team, but I do know there are team marketing things out there. So yeah, probably a good person to talk to would be like a Earl of Clark or Shannon. She's great too because she's on the team. But yeah, I can't speak to the team because it's just me, just little me. But yeah, so is there any questions about the 33 touch campaigns? Okay, well,
It's in a year, you know, and I went to the technology class,
Mhm.
7 day technology class. And so it was in a week or so. Like, people are gonna, block me because if you keep sending text and, trying to get in touch with them. Personally, I don't like people calling me. Like I always, when I subscribe to something, say email only. So
Oh, really?
when I have time.
okay. Well, I think when you get in this business, you'll have a different perspective on calls. Because I do. I didn't like it either. But now I'm a little bit more sensitive to when people call me. Now, the one thing I don't like is the automated calls. I'd rather talk to a person.
Actually, I don't answer phones in my house.
Uh-huh.
Like, if somebody that really wants to get in touch with me, will leave a voicemail. Now I have to change it because I tend to do that with myself.
Mhm.
Unless I know who's calling, I don't answer. But now I have to answer.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I wanted to also mention to you guys in your campaigns, there's also something called an 8x8
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at-
And the 8x8 is a series of 8 touches in 8 weeks. And typically it's recommended that you set up a client on an 8x8 first before you do a 33 touch. And the really nice thing with E-Edge, and it didn't used to have this, but the really nice thing with E-Edge is you can set a client up on 8x8, and then at the bottom, it'll say, like, once that campaign is at completion, where you want that person's campaign to be set up next, and you can select 33 touch.
And for the EH to do it is automatic.
It's automatic as long as you select the category for them to, yeah. So that's really nice. So
What about
typically,
mailing, like physically mailing something, you have to pay for postage again,
mhm.
and how they bill them. Because everybody has a way to do it.
Well, you're going to be billed because when you set up E-Edge, there is a section in there to put your credit card, and anytime you do any type of marketing, it's going to charge that card for it.
For anything, for email, for
Well, again, you have your market center stuff, and then you have your now the direct mail pieces is separate. That's not part of what you pay the market center.
by what you pay.
But what you're doing, if you send any mailers out through E-Edge, they're gonna bill you, but it's gonna be charged automatically to the credit card you have in the system. Okay. So you have, like I said, your 8x8, and that's usually geared for people that you know, so your Mets. And you want to set them on that first, and then follow up with a 33 touch. There's also a campaign called a 12x12. So that's 12 touches in 12 weeks. And usually that's recommended for people that you don't know that well. Okay. And those campaigns I think are pretty cool because it's not even always real estate stuff. It's lawn maintenance, how to stage your home, or some of the best ways to, home improvement. It's a lot of different things. So I really like that because, again, I've learned that vinegar can do so much because I saw something on there about vinegar and I had no idea vinegar did so many things. So it's just tips, just easy home tips and tips that you can use throughout life. So that's one of the things that's great to set up for your non-Mets, people that you don't know, because you don't know if they're in your non-Mets. It could be, you don't know what their situation is. They may not be looking to buy or sell. You don't know. So put them on that particular campaign. It's still a way to keep in touch, but then you're still possibly, sending them things that they may be interested in reading about. Okay. So that's kind of that. Let me see. Gardening tips. That's another one I see a lot out there. Okay. Let's see where we are.
One question.
Sure.
How can you be sure, well, I guess you can't. How can you be sure that your contact isn't on another agent's?
You're not.
And how do you prevent the duplication of the mailers and the emails and stuff?
Well, the duplication of mailers is, there's so much out there. I doubt if you would duplicate something. The only possibility where that may happen is maybe during the holiday, if someone happens to send out the same, but there's no guarantee because you may have some similar contacts. Yeah, you may have, and that's okay. If they haven't deleted you, then it's okay. So, and I'm sure that happens where, your contact is you just never know. But I don't think that happens a whole lot. All right, we kind of skipped around here a little bit. You want to become a database master. I'm actually going to go on to page, hold on here, I'll tell y'all where. Okay, if you'll go to page 25 actually, where it talks about classifying them according to their needs in your database. If they're a buyer, they're a seller, or both. Are they a member of a particular group that you're targeting? For example, a neighborhood, a religious group, or a sports team. Another thing to think about, I've added a lot of people to my database just based off of my kids' affiliations, for example. So if you have children that are in sports, those are contacts. And one of the ways that we communicate is through emails. I'm always getting emails from my daughter's coaches about various events. So I've added those people to my database. I didn't tell them, but I put them on there. But you know what? Believe it or not, a lot of them have not opted out. So again, you know, you should ask permission, but I didn't, and I added them, and again, most of them have stayed. So take advantage of those contacts that you have through your kids' affiliations or church groups or different things like that. Okay. On that page, it also talks about, you know, creating groups according to what makes sense for you. For example, I mentioned school or sports, open house contacts, business relationships. Groups will also help target marketing. Knowing what group the contact is will help you determine the marketing campaign that will resonate best with them. Like I said, if you've got a group of for sale by owners, it may not pay to send them something on, you know, how you can help them sell their house. They may not care, but you could, you know, but just target your marketing to that particular audience. Okay. On page 27, it talks, I want to go specifically down to number 3 where it says qualify status. Qualify each of your contacts into a status. Example could be hot, cold, active, or inactive. One of the reasons that's so important is because you don't want to spend your time on somebody who know that's not going to yield you any results. You know, you definitely want to contact your database, but you want to focus your time on people that you know are looking to do something. Okay. So if you know someone, you talk to someone, they're like, oh, we're not interested in buying. We probably won't buy for another 5 to 10 years. Okay, you make that mental note. You mark that in your database. You still keep in contact with them, but maybe not contact them as often, at least from a phone call perspective. Okay. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to take a break because we haven't had one, and I know y'all probably go to the bathroom and stuff. So we'll take a break here and then come back and regroup and then finish up. So in order to become a database master, the key to add contacts to your database is basically as soon as you get them, you want to add them. Okay. You want to add them immediately. You want to get their contact information, add them to your database, and make sure that you follow up with them with a handwritten note. And make sure you put them on an 8x8 touch campaign and follow up with them. Do you guys remember what the 8x8s are?
8 contact in 8 weeks.
Yes.
8 contacts.
Yes, and we typically use those for what type of, for your Mets. Yep. Okay. As soon as you get a referral, you want to thank the referral source and reward them by sending them a handwritten note. Add them to your database, classify, call them, and qualify them. If they are hot, get an appointment, and again, put them on an 8x8 campaign, follow up with a 33 touch. And again, the 33 touches are, anybody?
Part of campaigns throughout the course of the year.
33 touches in 12 months.
Right, right. And they involve the combination of
Email, face to face,
Activities.
Calls.
yeah, and right. And what do we say about the mailers? What did you have to do with the mailers?
so emailers or
The mailers, like the direct mail pieces.
You have to pay for them.
Well, you do have to pay for them, but they're not.
handwritten.
You have to do what to them because they're not.
Qualifying.
Personal.
Well, you do have to personalize them, but you actually have to add them because if you look, all of the campaigns have 0 for direct mail. So you have to go in and physically add direct mail pieces to these contacts. Otherwise, they'll only get emails from you, you know, and then of course your phone calls, huh?
That's when I a computer generated kind of mail, right?
Yeah, it's going to be generated from the computer, but you have to go in and actually set up the mailer for it to be sent out.
It's more effective to do handwritten.
Huh?
It's more effective to do.
You can do that too if you want to serve that as but this is, you can do that too. You can include that as part of your activities as well. But if you want to set up direct mail pieces, you have to physically go in and add them yourself.
Do you pay for the email campaigns as well, or is that included?
That's included in your market center cost.
Okay.
If you have that. Now, of course, like I said, the direct mail pieces
All right.
are separate,
then
and
they
that's
just-
what you pay based off the credit card you have set up on your eEdge account here. Okay. Is there any ahas or anything you can take away from this class today that anybody would like to share, or anything I need to clarify? I'd be happy to do that now. I can do that with you.
I have a question that's not completely class related, but it came from what we did in the class. So if we want to meet with somebody here, do we just like reserve one of the conference rooms, or how do we do that?
Yeah, you can actually contact Kayla,
Kayla, okay.
and she's really great in terms of getting things set up for you fairly quickly, and she'll just
Okay.
verify that there is a room available, and that's fine. I meet clients here all the time because I work majority of the time from home.
Right.
So
exactly.
for me, when I do want to meet a client, this is where I meet them. And also, you do have the ability to meet in other offices too. Because I do business in Greensboro, sometimes I feel bad about asking a client to come all the way to Kernersville.
Right.
So I'll meet them at one of the Greensboro Keller Williams offices. And then usually they're really wonderful about that. You can just contact one of the team leads and say, hey, I'm so-and-so from Keller Williams in Kernersville. Can I come out there and meet a client?
Okay.
And they'll set you up. So I've done that several times.
Awesome.
Like Justin Terrell's team, like the Keller Williams Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
Yeah, like I met a client out at the New Garden location a couple weeks ago, just because I didn't want them to come all the way out here.
They have that little small thing down the hall there too, don't they? That you can actually sit with the cubicle.
Where you talking about?
In Greensboro.
Which office? Because there's more than one. The Elm Street one or the one on New Garden?
New Garden.
Okay. Yeah, there's a conference room as soon as you walk in to the right. That's the one where, they usually reserve for us or people who are outside or whoever. So yeah, that's not a problem. You can definitely meet at another office. Some people like to meet at the library or at Panera Bread or different places, but I don't know. I think it looks more professional when you can meet, at a Keller Williams office, and they're typically really open to allowing you to meet at other locations. Pretty good about that. So, yeah. Anything else I can clarify or for anybody before we do our wrap up? Okay. Do you guys understand the importance of your database? I mean, really, how significant this is to your business? I mean, it's something you should be in like every single day. Every single day.
They have eEdge trainings, right?
Yeah.
Like a separate eEdge.
Is that one
Elizabeth was saying YouTube is
Yeah, go look at and one of the things, and like I said, part of your assignment typically before you have a class is to review those mission statements, which is typically going and looking at those videos, because those will help you be a little bit more familiar, even if you don't necessarily have access to some of the programs right now. It's important to follow those videos and do those assignments before you come to class, because they will make a difference. And I do apologize if you didn't have access to eEdge or have your mobile app for us to share and stuff today. So, again, so basically our action plan is going to be to continue to add contacts to our database. Okay, we want to create groups in eEdge for organization. Add all your contacts to groups, put all your contacts on campaigns. So don't just put them in the database. As soon as you put them in the database, add them to a campaign. You want to definitely prepare yourself for the next class and download the pre-work. Okay. And the other things is that daily 10-4 is essential. Okay. You should always set yourself a goal that every day I'm going to call 10 people. Okay. And let's put it even, I'm going to call 20 people. Your goal should be at least to talk to 10 every day. How about that? Because a lot of times, like you said, you're going to get a lot of voicemails. So make your goal to actually contact 10 people. That means actually basically a two-way conversation, which I know can happen, because there's some, like I was telling Arlene just the other day, I said, I called 50 people today, but I only talked to like 20. And that's going to happen. But again, you still have to make those contacts. You have to say in your mind that every day I'm going to call this many people, but you'll probably only talk to half of them, you know. So, you know, but you just have to keep trying, because you will get somebody. You'll get a lot of voicemails and maybe even some people that are non-responsive, you know. But your contacts are also people you meet outside. So in your everyday life, as you're in the grocery store, you know, tell people, hey, make a conversation. I got a real estate business. Would you be interested in, you know, taking one of my cards, and can I follow up with you, or can I share my database with you? You know, people I think are more reluctant to give you their cell phone number than their address or something if you first meet them. But, you know, offer to send them your KW app. So those are all potential contacts. Any way that you can meet people. Obviously doing, you know, open houses. You guys are all new agents with the exception, I think, of you, right? Yeah. Have y'all had an opportunity to possibly do an open house or been off? Take advantage of that. When you see agents send out things saying they need open house help, take advantage of that. Those are contacts. Those are ways for you to meet people. And if you have not taken the open house class, make sure you take that open house class, because he gives you some real neat tidbits on things you can do prior to the open house to increase your contact prior to the open house. Walk in the neighborhood, talking to the neighbors, inviting them to the open house. Another way to contact, to get people in your database. So it sounds hard, but it's really easy. It really is.
I was just laughing when you said the neighbors.
Why?
Neighbors are usually the first ones.
They usually are, because they're wanting to be nosy, but
They're
you,
nosy.
See inside this thing.
yeah, they
And they're
are.
asking how much. I can ask how much.
Yeah, they usually are. But again, that neighbor could be a potential business opportunity for you. Now, we don't want to share that with the homeowners, but they can be. You know, one of the things, you know, I like to say, I think it's in one of our scripts about open houses, is that when you go and you do your rounds to the neighborhood to invite people to the open house, say this gives you an opportunity to pick your neighbor. You know, which is kind of illegal, but but it's still something that we say to kind of entice them, you know, and again, hopefully that they'll share and they'll come, and that's another opportunity for you to get a contact and a potential client in the future. So yeah, so there's opportunities for contacts all over the place. We just have to, you know, and sometimes I get so mad with myself because I don't feel like I take advantage of some of the contacts that are right there in front of me. And then I think about it later. Oh, I forgot to mention real estate to them.
So there's a lot of stuff on it.
Mhm.
It's a pain in the butt to enter manually. Does she keep this electronically so we can
Yeah.
just like draft?
Yeah. Do you know?
Sketch what you do.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Is it there?
Do you know how to get to the market center?
Yeah.
I can show it to you.
Yeah, I think so.
So let me come out of here.
I'll show you because that one is outdated, really easy, very outdated.
Yeah, I thought it was there.
And
It's
the
nice that
rest
it's
of
just blank.
So the Google Calendar.
Yeah.
Calculator, dashboard. Back to my KW. So did you say you have this, right? You know how to get to the intranet?
Yes.
And you see where it says my market center intranet?
Yeah.
The calendar should be out there. You see the calendar?
Oh, I didn't see my market center.
You don't have that, really?
It wasn't listed. Ah, here it is.
And then there's like training.
Yeah, I see it down there. There we go.
I signed up.
The trick on that calendar I found is it doesn't carry them on, you have to actually push that
Yeah.
number. Because sometimes there's 29.
Classes, because there are classes in all the
Right. So you kind
training
of
centers.
define what you're looking for. See there at the top?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
It's a good, I took off the
Okay, guys, before we come to an end, Was there anything else you guys wanted to share? Any ahas, any takeaways? I like to hear takeaways. Any things that you think we can do to improve the class, or anything you got out of it, or that you didn't know before?
For me, it was the 33.
The 33.
Because I thought it was in a week, and I thought that was crazy. Like, everybody's gonna hate you for voting there.
Okay. Anything else? I appreciate the honesty.
I really did like your idea about how you address the for sale by owners when you send out security procedures and things like that. That's really a great idea.
Yeah, and like I said, if you have that manual with the scripts for use that. It works. Something I wanted to share with you real quickly, and I don't think this is necessarily a script, but do you guys know Wanda Robinson?
Yes.
Okay. And are y'all friends with her on Facebook at all? Okay. Well, did you see what she put out there recently about a for sale by owner she just got?
Yeah.
And again, that was very simple, but it worked. And I wanted to.
That was a very short conversation.
Yeah, and I wanted to share that with you guys real quick, because again, sometimes it just takes a matter of calling that part. You just never know. She called them. Let me see. I don't know where she put it. I don't know where she put that, because now I can't find it. But I remember seeing it out there, and I think all she basically said was, hello, I want Wanda Robinson from Keller Williams Realty, and I see that you're a for sale by owner. Just wanted to know if there's anything I can do to help you in the process, or something like that, to forward your process. You see it?
Yeah.
What exactly does it say?
Okay. FSBO lead gen calls today. Me, I'm calling about your house that is for sale by owner and wondered how I could help you get things moving along. And then the owner says, I'm tired and ready to list my house. Can you come see me at 10 a.m. tomorrow? Me, why, let me check my calendar. Yes.
Yeah. So see how simple that was? So sometimes it's just a matter of taking the chance. And I will say, for sale by owners are not my favorite to call, because I feel like normally you have to work so hard to get them to change their mind, and you have to continuously follow up. I have a group of for sale by owners I'm working with now, and I'm constantly calling them. I'm constantly sending out information, and I'm hoping at some point they will just break down and be like, yes, I'm going to go ahead and list my house.
Everybody else does it, and they are sick and tired of hearing from other.
And that's probably part of their frustration too, because I'm sure I'm not the only realtor that's calling them. But I tell you what, there's probably not a lot of them that's following up. And that's, I think, what makes you stand out is the constant follow up. And like I said, when I call, I don't feel like I'm overly aggressive. I try to come from the point of contribution by sending them, let me send you this that might help you. Let me send you these tidbits to help you sell your house. Let me send you these and because one of them even asked me, why are you sending me all this stuff? And I was honest with them. I said, you know what? My hope is that even if you don't list with me today, my hope is that you'll tell a friend about me. Yeah, I mean, my hope is you'll remember me, and if I can't, even if I don't list your house, that if somebody asks you, for a realtor, that you'll think of me because I was so helpful to you today, So something like that. So just to keep people remembering who you are, just come from a point of contribution. Don't come from like what you can do to help them in their situation without necessarily having to sell their house. And it's a lot of work sometimes. But hopefully the end result would be that you either gain their business or the referral of them from somebody else. So that's kind of the whole point. So, well, we did get finished a little bit early today, so that's a good thing. I enjoyed having you guys. I'm going to give